whatnot. Okay.
Cool.
So, it's been about, what, a month and a bit since we last played this. And when we last met, you found out that the Mechanists and the Fel 6 were working together and also torturing and mutilating bodies of aliens and all that sort of stuff. And they had essentially an army of ships and robots that were being flown out. I can actually now reveal to you what the robots look like.
Cool.
Cool robots. They are cool robots.
Okay, so this is what you saw when you were down underneath the CC.
Well, yeah, okay. And they were bringing all these bodies to the surface or something, weren't they?
They were the mer people. The bodies were being disposed of outside of that facility at the bottom of the sea, and the mer people that were considered food by the humans of Siberius were bringing the bodies up so you could see what was going on.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And yeah, you came across this. You then got picked up by the Aslani ship that was working with Seeker, and flown out of there pretty well, quick, smart. What I can reveal to you now is you were actually chased to the jump point. When obviously you were spotted as you were sort of viewing the area. Military craft, in fact it was one of the spaceships that was underneath the water, actually broke from the water and it chased you to the jump point, but the Aslani ship was too quick for it.
Good.
And you made jump. Essentially what happened then was you travelled through to Bethwheel itself. I think that's the name of the place. Let's hope I know my own system well enough to actually say that. There we go. Subsystem map. Yes, Bethwheel, which is the capital of the subsystem. You were taken directly there. 1, 2, 3, 4. In one jump, you arrived in the Bethwheel system. The Aslani ship itself was a Jump 6 ship. Essentially moving as quickly as possible that they could. They dropped you off there with whatever footage that they could garner and yourselves to them. They also stopped and dropped Seeker off as a diplomat, but Seeker was only there for a couple of days, and you were caught up in a whirl of seeing people of military intelligences and navy intelligence and army intelligence and all that sort of stuff. Most of the people didn't believe you to start with until you actually came up with pieces of proof, and some ships started. There were reports that some of the areas in and around Fel, the Imperial base, Imperial naval base at Fel, apparently fell to an attack from the Fel 6. Apparently the naval base that was currently stationed off Jalut. Jalut's a place that's in massive turmoil as it was anyway. They got attacked as well. So, Tom just asked me to send him an invite, so I'll send that. And by the time that had happened, which was within a week, essentially the word got out. Bethwheel believed you, and essentially wars erupted within the systems. These ships and these robots have started striking out around the Fel area, and also spaces around the Mechanists area has begun to occur. You've been used pretty much as advisors, the three of you. Been kept in Bethwheel for quite some time. They keep going over you. They've done stuff like hypnotism and various other stuff, and all that sort of stuff to try and get absolutely as much as possible that they can out of you. It's been about 3 or 4 months now, and the war that is spreading has spread to over 12 planets now. And also, the other major occurrence that occurred was all the alien races withdrew their embassies. and their diplomats, etc., from the system. Largely because they are fearful for their life. There have been terrorist bombings within the main capital of Bethwil, near and around the embassies. There's been hate crimes against alien races, etc. All alien races have pretty much been told, get out where you can. They have been organising merchant lines to, merchants are making a mint out of it because they're being hired to take as many people as they can out of system. And that leads to the point where you're called to a boardroom meeting in Bethwil, where we'll start off. Are you with us now, Tom?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, certainly can.
You're talking about civil war, terrorists, bad things, man, versus like zombie robots from the deep. Is that the sort of deal?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just Zap's advice.
That's a fairly good nutshell summary. What's Zap's advice?
Always the best solution.
I saw it in the movie.
It always comes to that. It always comes down to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we just need to get nukes.
What's your character's name, Tom? You should be.
There was a doctor and there was another one you did. Whichever you like will do. Whatever.
It's Decker, so we've got Decker back on board in this version because we're not using Fantasy Grounds anymore, so...
Decker.
She's
Really?
a doctor.
He's a doctor?
Yep, she's a doctor.
Oh, she is. I wonder if she's like got any experience with replicants.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so you're all called into a boardroom meeting. All of the top brasses there, the head of the Imperial Navy, the Army, there's actually quite a few respected mercenary captains that are now sort of frequenting the halls as well. Essentially, Bethwil, or the traditionalists, are really scrambling to get people onto their side. They were a bit worried that they were going to be overwhelmed in the first initial strike, but they managed to get word to some of the naval bases before they were hit. A lot of the naval bases found that there'd been internal sabotage, and it had been there for a long time waiting for this activation. But they managed to get a lot of the ships out, but not as many as they'd like. The Fel and the Mechanists essentially have an extremely large army, but a lot of the mercenaries have gotten on their side. It's a really bad look what you've done for the Fel and the Mechanists, because if they just come out and fought the wheel, they probably would have won. But with the information that you've brought to light, with the complete anti-alien stance that they've taken, and in fact horrible experimentation, they have set themselves up with a very bad publicity. So anybody that's actually listening to what comes out of Bethwil has sided with you. So you've got a lot of mercenary companies that use Varg and Aslani members and stuff like that. They're in it to win it. And they have come strengthened and are offering their services nice and cheap. So you've got quite a few people. But you're sitting around in this central area. There's quite a few people there. The head of the Bethwil country, or Bethwil, the president of the Bethwil subsystem, Liani Teradok. Liani Teradok steps up and she says, we have called this meeting, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning till you're all woken up and ushered to the boardroom table, because we have received information from our scouts from 3 sides of the subsystem. Apparently the Aslani, the Varg, and the Droin each have fleets poised to jump into the subsystem. We've had no communication from any of these sectors to suggest what their purpose may be. We would like to believe that they are coming in to deal with the Fel and Mechanist threat, but we can't guarantee this.
Great.
They might see this as a point of weakness, and perhaps with us distracted and pressured on all sides, it could be an invasion that we're looking at. What we suggest to do is some of the scouts and some of the intelligence that we're getting is that some pre-landing or some pre-jump scouting from those environments have found their way to Vasil, and I'll show you where Vasil is. Hang on, screen share. Screen share with me. Screen share. Okay, so Vasil's up in this top area. In fact, it's the centre top of the Barthoon subsystem. And apparently there were 3 ships located that arrived at that point there. Of each of the alien races, they rendezvoused. There were, it wasn't actually on the planet Vasil itself. Vasil, as they know, is, where are we? Vasil. Give me that. Okay, Vasil's an experimental system according to their spies. It's a mechanist hot tub, essentially, of development, or so we believed. It's a planetary system that revolves around a binary white dwarf system. The most recent star to go white dwarf was Anubis around 1,000 years prior to colonisation, and Osiris turned into a white dwarf about 8,000 years ago. Orbit of Vasil and 6 other planets of the system is erratic and hazardous, with the mass of both white dwarfs often causing a swap of rotation in each planet. The planets affected are Vasil, Bethel, Turan, Vector and Leftbird, being wider orbiting planets. Vasil's a test ground for corporations in and around the area to trial new designs of mining and military hardware. Changes in gravity to the system alone in times of transition between stars and also the exotic atmosphere is toxic to all but the hardiest life, making it an ideal planet to develop military mining and scientific advances. So they can claim to have been tested in the worst situations. Population of the planet's largely all researchers, manufacturers and designers that have worked for various high technology corporations. They would have all been headhunted. Corporations are overseen by a mechanist committee, not on planet. Before being allowed to embark their research in the system, the corporations and researchers need to sign memorandums of understanding and share any research or developments with the mechanists. Rumours from the planet, though delivered through our spy networks, seem to suggest that there are clandestine research facilities present on the system that have circumvented that committee. These clandestine researchers engineer ways to land on planet during transition between the stars, disguised as asteroid hits. Activity has been detected by some of the legitimate researchers on the planet that would suggest unnatural events occurring below the surface, though what is natural on Vasil can be a difficult thing to determine due to the turbulence. And essentially that's it. Nobody actually travels to Vasil unless they've got clearance or they can work out a way to get down there themselves. We're interested in what's happening in Vasil just in case that it means something to the alien races as well. But we're preparing our navy and we want a small force to travel to Vasil and see if they can make landfall and find out what's going on there. Does anybody have anything to say, she says. She pauses in her little
How small?
diagram because... a mercenary company will provide a ship that will reach the outer areas of the star system, and we have developed a ship's boat to appear like, well, an asteroid hit. We're going to take the whoever it was that pioneered this idea, we've engineered it to look like an asteroid, and hopefully that will fly in with a group. The asteroid itself is probably only large enough for 5 to 6 individuals.
How convenient.
Well, we can't risk anything higher than that.
No, understood.
Anything larger. It's Basil is a reasonably disruptive place to be, but the way that it currently stands is the rotation of the stars. By the time you actually reach there, anything larger than this ship will be easily detected by standard sensors. And we don't want to, well, we essentially want the people that land to get back and tell us what's going on. If it's important. We don't know, we might be chasing red herrings.
Doubtful.
Or even purple lemurs. Well, perhaps. But we've got to try and grasp at every straw that we can in this environment. We need to find out what's going on there. If it's a Mechanist-held area and we can perhaps complicate life for them, then all the better. If it's something else, we want to know. Especially if the Mechanists don't know. It's almost in the heart of their territory. So do I have any volunteers?
Yeah, okay.
So technically we'd be spies, and under the common laws, if we're captured, we're put to death.
Technically, you could claim to be researchers.
Right.
Journalists, no?
Yes, nothing bad ever happens to journalists.
Right.
Probably better than a spy.
However, I will say that the payment will be remunerative to the risk.
Perhaps we should go as a, well, what would you use as a more generic term for humanitarian aid?
How about a freelance prospecting team? It's a odd system. We could just be out there to make a buck. I'm sure there's lots of profiteers in this war.
That may be the case, but you would still be seen as illegals because you haven't gone through the correct channels. Whether you manage to pull it off or not, or whether you're even, you know, confronted by the Mechanists, who knows?
Right,
who knows
but
what you're going to discover out there?
Well, I'm just thinking if we went as a freelance prospecting team from out of the sector, out of the subsector, so we're not completely familiar with all the laws. So we were of the understanding that we make the claim, that's when we start filling out all the papers.
Maybe we're just tourists.
In an asteroid. Okay.
Yeah, we got lost.
That we drive an asteroid.
Yeah, it's the new asteroid tours, man. It's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, tourists with AK-45 or whatever the weapons we've got. Excellent.
Small tactical nuclear weapons.
I'm liking the tactical nuclear weapon option, eh? Actually, does anyone know the Darians? We only need to take out one of those stars and we've got the problem solved. Okay.
The final solution.
Yeah, wow. It works. What do you guys want to do?
We need a suitable crew. Somebody that's
I have
able
ship's
to fly
boat.
a ship's boat.
I have ship's boat, if that's a skill that's required.
I have that too. And pilot and navigate.
Yeah, I've got nav. Can operate in 0G. Can fix things mechanically and electronically.
They all sound like good ones.
I've done a bit of wartime work. Nav, ship's boat, bit of piloting.
So we have Zap and Darian currently.
Yep, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
This situation needs sorting out.
Okay, helping Anton's in as well.
Yeah.
This is 2, excellent.
That's not quite sure why he's there or going in, but he's doing it anyway.
We'll need a medic. Just saying.
I point over at the person who hasn't said anything. Why are you carrying that medikit? Are you a medic?
He might not be there. We'll assume that Tom's in. Decker's in.
Yeah. Well, she'd always be in for something like that, I think. Like, she hasn't lived this long, like, being cautious.
Okay. Do we have anybody that's good with a gun?
Shotgun, thing pistol, snub pistol, shotgun, brawling.
Okay.
I could, accidentally kill a few people with injection. That's about it.
Laser drill. And if I need to shoot my snub pistol or laser drill in zero-G combat as a zero-G environment, got some skill there. And also exact suit also, but that's what it is.
Okay.
I just have a question about my character.
Yep.
Down as engineer, but I don't see engineering skills.
Yeah.
More of a pilot.
Yeah. I know. That happens with Plastic Traveller. You may be in the engineering department and get no engineering skills whatsoever.
None at all.
You were the guy that tested the ship while all the engineers worked on it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the captain and I have bureaucracy.
Yeah, they're really more of a pilot, actually.
Classic Traveller is the random character generator from the future.
Right. So I've been working as an engineer, but I have no aptitude for it whatsoever.
just to get it out of the way, no one here has Jot.
You essentially sit there all the time wondering why are you asking me to look at the power plant? Aren't they going to ask me to take it out and give it a spin?
I'm just getting by on gambling skill.
Great. We'll ask you to engage the enemy in a game of blackjack.
Quick, fix the engine. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I bet you that I'm going to do a good job.
Spaceship craps or something.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the mercenaries says that one of the mercenary captains says we've just recently
drives randomly and bet on it. Yeah.
We've picked up a new recruit, Corporal Jared Friedman. He will be attending with you. He has some skill in weapons.
Great. I ask him, does he wear a red shirt?
Looking at his skill levels, quite possibly. In fact, he may be wearing a red shirt with a big target drawn on it.
Rightio. And are we developing his background as we speak?
No, I made him today.
He might not be the killer. The killed. Okay, cool.
I made 6 characters today. I made a robot, which is insanely difficult in Classic Traveller. Well, I'm sure if I was familiar with it, I'd be a lot better at it. But there you go. And right, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. We have people that can actually fly the larger ship out to the edge of the star system, and we have.
What equipment are they giving us? What equipment are they giving us?
They're giving you 1 mega credit each.
Awesome shopping.
No,
giving us 1 mega credit and nowhere to spend it.
They're giving you 1 mega credit each. You can spend that any which way that you wish, and it's also payment for the job or your funerals.
So I want to hold a small bit back because I want a state funeral.
That kind of blows the whole idea of plausible deniability, Steve.
I don't care, says Sap. They want me to do the job, I want a state funeral. I didn't say on which planet. I didn't want which subsector. I just want a state funeral. I don't care if it's some backwater planet where they've never heard of me. I want a state funeral.
Or even which side.
It'll be a state funeral.
Even which side, you know. Go, Anton, I say. I want to buy at least 50,000 credits worth of old holo vids, the rare ones that I've never been able to forward.
Oh,
If I'm
damn.
going to go down, I want to see those movies first. I think perhaps, I'm guessing we should all get some combat armor if we're going to be involved in combat.
Always a good plan.
Because don't you need battle suit skill to apply in battle suit?
Yes,
I
battle
think
vest,
you.
yeah.
I think as long as you've got vac suit, you can apply it to combat armor as just vac 0.
I
Something
think
like that.
so. I'll double check for you. I have my View wonderful thingy open at the moment. So let's go have a look at characters in combat.
I have Reflect armor already.
Yes, you do. I did some purchasing on your behalf.
Yes, buy some reflect to go onto the combat armor.
Hmm.
And probably some, not jack, what's the other, ballistic, whatever it is, just a
Mesh or
case of
cloth.
cloth, just in case we don't need to wear combat armor. If we want to make it look more low-key.
Combat armor is a complete vac suit-like array of metal and synthetic armor. Combat armor is strictly military and not available on the open market, but you can purchase it. It is issued to troop units and elite mercenary battalions. Full combat armor can be worn. The user must have vac suit skill 1 or better.
Cool, I'm in.
Me
How
too.
much? How much off my money? Is it about 50,000 or something?
20 grand.
Oh shit. Okay. 20. Okay. Well, I'll get that. I'll get a suit of cloth and a suit of reflect.
Cloth is 250, reflex 1500.
Yep.
I'm just going to go refill my glass of wine and then I shall return.
So guys, what else do we need? I think if we're going to do this whole spy thing, and I've seen it in many movies, you need at least one set of explosives.
Oh, absolutely. Something
So
large
we
and
do.
reliable.
How about TDX? I don't know if Mark's got the stats on TDX. That's the explosive that goes perpendicular to the gravity line, so it gives you like a, and you can set it at the height.
Mm.
So it doesn't go a 360. It just goes along a line of like parallel to the line of gravity.
The strongest gravitation.
It was in one of the test journals.
Sweet.
But I'm just saying
Hey, guys.
TDX would be a good option.
Right, I'm back.
Sorry, reflect was what, 1,000?
Reflex 1500.
15. Can we get?
1500, yep.
Are you going to give us availability of TDX explosive from the journal, the test journal?
TDX explosive. Direction.
What it does, it explodes on. It's like your gravity goes that way. TDX goes on a. You can set it at the height, and it just goes on a plane as opposed to a 3.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How much was the ballistic armor?
250.
250, yeah. I'm just trying to work out what book it's going to be in.
Test journal. I don't remember which one. Sorry.
Hey guys, just wanted to quickly jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry I'm not contributing a lot. I just want to let you know I've just had recurrent dental surgery, so it's actually a bit painful to talk at the moment, which is why I'm typing a lot. So just to give you a heads up, I'm not sort of dropping out or anything. Just
okay. Yeah. I'll keep an eye on chat a little bit more then.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
Right. Where are we? Explosive demolitions. There we go. So I reckon we're probably in the right area.
Yeah.
Grenade launchers. Miscellaneous equipment. Here we go. I'll say probably a charge of TDX is going to be, seeing I'm going to have to make this up, where are we? Let's have a look at the prices here for them. Then they are like that.
I think, oh, no, I don't have that hard drive connected. I think it was either Journal 10 or Journal 13 from memory. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, you're right. I'll make that. I'm an awesome GM. I can make stuff up.
cool.
Let's say they're about $5,000 to charge.
Okay, well, I'll take 10. And detonators?
That's with them included.
Oh, sweet.
Charge and detonator all in the one.
Yep. Do we have some way of having encoded communication devices?
We'll assume they chuck them in as freebies.
Cool.
Vocal mics or something similar.
The light, when you were describing the solar system, sorry, I didn't take account of the luminosity on the planets. Do we have any information about, do we need low light, do we need...
No, there should be plenty of light, although they do expect that you'll be heading underground, so you might need IR or enhanced light vision.
Okay, whatever they recommend, I'll buy.
Yep.
So just vision enhancement, how much will that cost?
At practically 1,000. For robots, it's about 1,500. So we'll say for humans, it's about 1,000.
Cool. Okay. Okay. What do you guys need? I mean, the other thing I'll be getting is like coils and things to swing from, and connectors, and what do you call those things? Where you detonate and a nail goes into a thing to lock in, all that sort of crap. So 5,000 cover all of that.
Mhm.
So like
Absolutely.
fancy climbing gear.
Yeah, basically. Coils.
What about a grab belt?
Yes.
Yeah, nah, I don't trust them. If these techno guys could find ways to turn that off at a really inopportune moment for me, they can't change the laws of physics as far as I know.
As far as you know.
Yeah, so I'm going to hope on that.
Do they shoot to kill though?
Shoot to kill, shoot to kill.
I'm going to go belt and braces, the climbing gear and the grab belt.
Okay.
Ooh.
I agree with Steve. You can't trust the technology, but you may as well use it if you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I slipped off my rope. Oh no,
Yeah.
they turned off my grab belt as well.
Damn, they found a way to actually demolecularize my rope and it's disintegrated in my hand. Crap. Survival bubble. I think they're about 5,000. They can
what, sorry?
survival bubble. You can jump
Oh,
into them and survive a re-entry into a planet, and they give you enough food and stuff and shelter for about 2 weeks, I think.
Yep, they are about $5,000. You're right.
Yep.
I was looking at
Cool.
them a while
Okay.
ago.
I'm only sort of taking it from Snap's Zap sort of previous experience,
Yep, that's fine.
because he's not a
I'm not
Army
pour
guy.
over books for niggly bits. So.
Yep.
All right.
And
Anything
just
else?
just $1,000 worth of ammunition for whatever I've got. 1,000 credits. I'm pretty sure that'll be a lot.
Well, it depends on what you use. If you use a laser rifle, that won't even get you a clip.
Shotgun and
Oh.
snub pistol, and
Yep.
these.
That'll
Oh,
get you
brass knuckles.
shitloads of ammo.
Cool. So, can I just say, effectively, I won't run out as long as I can shoot something?
Essentially, yes.
Beautiful.
As long as you purchased some ammunition, I'm more than happy to say you won't run out.
Cool.
I'm not a bullet counter.
Cool. I just bought 1,000 credits worth. I hope that's enough.
What tech level are we at?
Beth Wheel's not a terribly high tech level, but it's sort of surging because of the amount of people that are in currently. It's about tech level 13 averaged out at.
Okay. And
Normally
I
only tech
seem to
level
have
9.
no
Beth Wheel,
firearms.
they like things nice and
What sort of negs am I
Yes.
at for defaulting on my weapon skills, my firearm skills?
Essentially, you get your firearm skills are firearm 0, so, you know, rifle 0. So you roll 2 dice, you're looking for an 8, depending on circumstances, without. Okay, I'm going to go have a look at that, Dan. It won't be a tick. Ooh, nice. You want one of them for your character? Looks like a holdout pistol or something similar.
I have a revolver 1. So
You're old school.
Anything
Well,
packs
you
a big
can
punch.
either grab a. Oh well, you're after like a Dirty Harry gun or something like that. Go on, punk, make my day. Something that has a nice short spindle link to it, right? Okay, that I'll tell you precisely how much that costs. I was almost on the right page for it, even. Almost. There we go. It's right there. You're looking at $150 for the weapon, 150 credits, and chuck in another $50 in ammo, and you're going to be right for the adventure. Full on
I need
200
something
out of
bit of
your
a-
1 million credits.
The if we're dealing with technology and if he's only taking this knowledge from movies, would they have any sort of thing that's capable of producing a narrow field, an electromagnetic pulse, an EMP field, say, I don't know, 1 band range, you know, like perhaps, I don't know, 2-5 meters?
Okay, I know exactly what you're after. I think I was looking at that in the other book that I just skipped from.
Cool.
Hang on. Right there. Holy hell.
And the other thing is, the other thing after I bought all this is I want a pair of mated rust monsters because there's metal in those things, guys.
You're going to tie them to an end of a stick and hit people with them?
Yeah, it's a whack, whack, whack. Yeah, take that, you mechanics.
There we go. Yep.
I just need like a submachine gun or something like that.
Oh yeah, you're not got the money for them. Sorry.
It costs more than $1 million. The credits.
Yeah.
Wow. What if we put some money together? Because I'm thinking, guys, if we need to like take out their mainframe or whatever, because that always appears in the movies. Can we put the money together? We can have one, and we can take out their central communication information spot if we need to.
The head of
Course, somebody else-
Bethfield's community, the president is looking rather pale as you keep mentioning, because that's what happens in the movies.
Yeah. Hey, they employed me. I didn't come looking for this job. And the other thing, of course, is that if anyone's got any, because I don't have any skill in computer skills that could like hack the computers and save information, because at the moment I'm not going to cover that because I don't know how to do that.
I'd give it a go, but I'm not the best trained computer nerd around.
So you'll need some sort of equipment to actually be able to save data on and communication devices and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. But as I said, that's not Zap's field of expertise, so he wouldn't know all the
Mine
details.
either.
Look, they can give you.
Yeah, I can take a look.
They can give you a temporary solution for what you want for about 300 grand. It'll knock it out. Whatever is electronic will need to be rebooted before it actually works again.
Oh, that's something. Do you guys want to put in to get one of those?
$3 grand.
300 grand.
Three-
Is
Yeah.
anyone else?
Yeah.
Is anyone else a computer nerd?
Nah.
Well, I'm just thinking because like Zap's all about if you can't sort it out, destroy it. So,
Well, Zap, they want to make the team leader because essentially
No.
where you're headed is very, very asteroid-like.
That's a bad choice.
Yeah, but you're a belter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a home belter.
Well, cool. Okay. As long as you guys understand that's a bad idea, but that's all sweet.
No,
75,000
she
credits
watched your
each.
profile on TV one night. You're
Okay.
wonderful, she says.
Oh my god. Yeah, whatever. This works out to be 75,000 credits each for the EMP pulse device each.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I've got electronics, so I sort of understand how that works, so I'm happy to hold that if people are happy for me to hold it. I'm assuming it's a fairly small device, because it's only got a small range.
It's got a massive backpack on it, but
That's okay.
the device
Sorry, how much
itself
was that,
is
Steve?
Sorry?
How much was that each?
75 grand each.
Thank you.
Yep.
Think of a Ghostbuster backpack weapon.
Excellent. I've seen Ghostbusters. It's a movie. Didn't like it much. Didn't seem to be that real. Who of us is the strongest? I've got a 6 in strength.
9.
You realise whoever actually puts the highest number is going to be the person carrying this device.
The corporal says, well, you all lift some weights for him, I suppose, is how you work it out. Not, how much strength have you got? I've got 9. I've got A, he says.
Yeah.
He's
I say,
got A.
hey!
Hey!
Yeah, all good. Okay. Well, whichever one of us seems to be the most robust at being able to carry heavy equipment.
Yep,
I primarily operate in 0G, so I'm not the best candidate.
Do realise, though, that I have quite a few weapons myself to carry, he says. I have
We're only going to use this if we need to.
assault rifle, light machine gun, a couple of pistols, combat armour. You know, it could hamper my style and my aiming ability.
Are you going to put it on someone's shoulders if we absolutely need to use it?
Alright. No worries.
We just
How
need
much
to
for
know
an
who to.
SMG?
Okay. Is the shopping almost done?
Do we have enough good stuff to make bullet holes not leak so much?
Pay about 10 grand and you've got plenty of good stuff to make bullet holes not bleed so much.
Okay, done.
The flying asteroid.
I'll buy 2 lots. I
Pardon?
take a back.
Does it come? Sorry.
We had a million, didn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
For an SMG.
Mm.
Not much. Where are we? There. Submachine gun. Worth around about 520 per clip, so 600-700, and you've got yourself enough bullets to last you a definite adventuring space.
Done.
Millionaires.
The vessel they're sending us in, because it's sort of made specifically for the mission. What's its sustainability? What are we looking at? Have we got like 2 weeks worth of life support, propulsion, spare parts, or is it longer or shorter? What's the expected time frame?
It's only a ship's boat, so it's not got a huge amount of life support on it, but it's expected as soon as you leave it, you'll basically shut everything down. As long as that's the capacity, then it will last indefinitely. If you leave everything on, though, it's probably only about 2 to 3 days worth of life support.
How much cargo space, if any, do we have? Just enough to carry
none.
what we bought?
Just enough to carry what you've got and yourselves.
Okay.
Essentially,
I want to buy an extra lot of life support. No.
There's no other space available for it that's really down to
Yep.
the,
Nice thought, but that's less fun.
Yeah.
It's really down to trimming the fat off it so it's not spotted and the electronics aren't too complicated and stuff like that. In fact, the electronics were made in some Chinese factory in 1987.
Oh, crap, we're doomed. I've seen a movie like that.
Flight of the Navigator. It was around about the time when Simon Says was the standard in handheld gaming devices.
Oh,
You can run one program at a time,
pretty much.
but not a very good one. Yeah.
No, but quite literally, a lot of the technology is being put into the actual asteroid appearance and the ability to mask the electronic signatures that it gives off, and heat signatures that it'll give off as well.
It didn't crash.
And also make it flying, ability to fly, so you can actually get back off the
That's
ground
always,
once you
that's
land.
always great. Flying is
It's a handy thing.
Well, initially they were thinking that they just needed to get it to land. But then they thought, no, we best make them give us their information back as well.
nice. Mm-hmm. Well, I've got everything other than golf.
Very good. Almost about time to go through the montage of Neil punching in some navigation data and
And then we misjump! Yes!
and then he misjump and completely ripped the game out from underneath me. Gee, that's never happened to me before.
I'm getting shades of the Larks. No, not Larks. Were they on the Lark song at that stage? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the Lark song.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, no, the Lark song had exploded,
Yeah.
imploded by then.
Yeah.
They'd just been given basically a brand new ship.
The new shiny. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just didn't take the wrapping off the jump engine and it melted and caused it to overheat and landed them in the middle of nowhere.
Oh dear. I blame the engineer. So
Really,
then
everybody else
should-
blamed the drunken pilot.
Yeah, it's
well.
usually the pilot of the navigator's fault.
Are they really
Okay.
serious they want me to be the team leader?
Yes,
Oh, great.
they definitely don't want me to be.
Okay.
It's an exceptionally hostile environment, and they figure that nobody's better at understanding that than a belter.
Okay.
You disagree with their reasoning?
No. Yes and no. That's
Sure,
okay.
You can do a,
I just don't think I'm the person for the job, but if that's what they want, that's fine. Okay.
sure you can do a bang-up job there.
Mm. They take you aside and say, great men are made from great circumstances. They're sure you're up to the job.
Yeah. I have this Nova feeling.
And if you're
I
not,
have
the
a
great,
bad
the
feeling
great
about
women
this.
can try and put you back together again.
Right. I have a bad feeling about this.
By the
But
way,
anyway.
just for posterity's sake, can you download your memories into this data cube?
Of course. Do you need a DNA sample as well? Okay. Well,
Yes,
has everyone else
absolutely.
got what they want?
Just so the
Just-
next 6 people that we send along can be...
Just not the
They
quarter
start
that was
shooting.
hanging out in the 3D porn parlors as a teenager. That'll just take up too much space.
I don't need to know what the doctor did in her earlier years, thank you. Although I'd be interested in-
She was
Sorry.
the one that you were watching in the 3D porn parlor.
Well, that's the thing. I was
She
wondering
needed
which
to
side of
pay-
the screen she was.
Yeah, she needed to pay for med school, for Christ's sake.
Too old to really. Didn't go to med school.
Oh, good. Excellent.
I just
It's all
picked it up
self-taught.
on a lot of ships of a lot of holes in them.
Mm.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
You just
That's
figures if
okay.
it's leaking, patch it up.
It's good. So I'm team leader because I know how to blow things up. That's perfect.
Ships or stewards. Yeah, bang up jobs, like we said. Yeah.
Right.
I tell you what, one of the characters I made today is an absolutely brilliant steward.
Let's have him along. At least he can make the whole thing comfortable.
How that actually works towards the game, I don't know, but I thought, right, I'm going to go for a merchant because I'll get some useful skills out of a merchant. And hang on, where are we? Purser.
You can get some nicely presented drinks as part of your dying requests.
He has
Cabin is
liaison
really
4, steward 3, medical 2. And just in case somebody beats him up, he's got cutlass 1.
Excellent.
So he's very apologetic while he cuts you into tiny little cubes.
I'm sorry, sir. Would you like fries with that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right, is
Oh, that
everyone
looks like
ready?
he's going to smart. Would you like some ice with that after I finish cutting you up?
So
Okay.
I believe Darian, is it? Darian's going to fly us to there.
Okay,
Apparently
Darian,
so.
you
Is it set
are...
and forget? Is it autopilot?
Unfortunately, there are a couple of jumps that you need to make. Here's a military aircraft. Aircraft. It's a military.
We're doomed!
It's a military spaceship you'll be flying.
I've never flown in atmosphere before.
Holy shit! Have you ever flown an asteroid?
I've driven an
The
asteroid.
aerodynamics are slightly different to an actual ship.
I've driven a Ford Meteor.
Oh, there you go. That's close enough.
Okay, it's
Okay.
going to be a 2 jump. You're actually going to
Yeah,
be
just go
jumping
to
into Berg. 4, 5. You're going to be jumping into Berg, which is a... there was a massive civil war going on there prior to this actually exploding into a horrible, horrible mess. You're going to be jumping into that system, availing yourself of the gas giant there to refuel, and then you'll be jumping direct to Vassal, or the outskirts of the Vassal system. So there are a couple of different roles that we need to make here, is the point that I'm getting at. The
Navigate.
first one would be a navigate roll to jump to system, to pick the right system. Don't get double one.
Any modifiers?
I'm just having a look at that now. What's your navigate skill?
2.
Navigation. Up per level. Okay, so it's essentially your navigation rolls. And like probably on sensors. Sensors 2, yeah. Yep, okay. Give us a roll, Anton, and just see if you can tidy up his navigation a little bit.
Oh no.
Yeehaw!
Third star from the right.
Yeah, right.
They did say trailing, didn't they?
I told you I got by more on luck than anything else.
Woohoo! Hey, what do I know? I don't know starships. I only know ship codes.
Calm down,
you're
give us a
doing
sense.
really well.
Navigation and luck, really, in the same sentence?
Dan?
Always a worry.
Dan.
And give us a sense.
Your microphone is off, Dan.
Sensor rolls there, please.
Census. Cool.
Okay, and he gets an
Oh.
8. So he points out to you that your navigation is slightly off. You know, that'd just unfortunately drop us into deep space where there's nothing, no radio signals at all coming from. He points out on his sensors how there's a big burst of radio signals at this navigation point, and could you please point us there rather than this point here, which has absolutely no radio signals whatsoever.
Oh, yeah,
Might
yeah.
have something
I was
to
reading
do
it
with
upside down. Sorry.
You make the slight adjustment, punch it into the navigation computer, and then you hit the big green button, which is the piloting check.
Buttons on toys.
And the big green button that says engage autopilot. Just before you go for a week worth
in case of emergency brake button.
cards and scout brew.
Okay, so
right, don't worry.
Gambling.
What's your pilot, by the way?
B3.
Oh, God, you're a damn good pilot.
Yeah, I just don't know where I'm going.
you look like you're doing a sterling job to me.
That's right. All those stream of stars appear towards you. It looks just like the movies. So Zap's happy.
You know, I just want to make a famous quote from a movie I saw. There's a disturbance in the force.
Damn it, Chewie.
Just saying.
Castle running
You know,
under 3 classes.
I was confused through all of those movies. I kept wondering whether they kept sticking their hand in something sticky underneath the table. I kept going, damn it, Chewie. Alright, that was horrible. That was a dad joke. My daughter would be cringing if she was sitting near me at the moment. Right,
But
might have-
secretly proud.
You won.
it's not a horrible roll. You do actually add about a day onto the journey, so it's about 8 days before you come out of jump. As the you obviously didn't press the green button saying engage autopilot firmly enough. And it's been a day.
Our safety depends on how hard you push the button.
Well, the AI on board the ship were going, did he press that? I don't know. Did he? It's known as the Gollum AI. And it's did he press it? And essentially, it went back and forwards for a while. They went, quick, just up on screen, put the streaming star thing up. So put the screensaver up. That'll keep them happy. And they sort of judged it. They took it to the scientific category. They had a look at the amount of firmness that the pilot has pressed the big green button before. And after about a day's worth of discussion with each other, they decided to engage the jump drive. And so you arrive 8 days later. Oh my God, this is turning into bloody Douglas Adams. I really should drink wine when I'm playing.
I drank beforehand.
Same here.
Clever people. Okay.
We could get more if you
So-
want. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you arrive in system and you actually see that you're actually getting. Dan, can you give me a census check? This is really you. Okay. The one competent person on board ship actually picks up quite a deal of. I'm sorry, Neil. Actually picks up quite a bit of activity from the planet. Where did I say you were going to? There we are. Berg. There's quite a bit of activity. There's a lot of radiation sensors, etc. Going off. It's a dangerous place. This planet's being absolutely ripped apart. Dan picks up quite a few sensors, etc. And there's a lot of wartime chatter going on. Sounds quite horrendous, so you're pretty well certain that nobody's actually noticed you jumping into system, which is a reasonable thing because they actually pay a fair bit of attention out in the black for those sorts of things, but just in case somebody's hired quite a few mercenaries to come and tilt things on either way. Oh my God, my crew is transforming into freaks.
Are we back on the water planet or no? Okay.
No. Oh, very funny. Yes, awful.
Arr.
Oh dear. Right.
This is the crew you've assembled. That's why I was trying to tell them. This is the crew. This is the reality.
Oh, dear.
Professional what?
When the ship hits the moon, it's a more.
Like a big pizza pie.
Okay. Give me a
I'm sorry.
piloting check as you come into the to scoop the gas giant.
Scooby doop doop.
Oh my God! You
That'll
made a
work.
roll.
Hey, shut up.
You drop down the scoops, you actually pile in quite a bit of juice. You're now ready to make your trip to Vassal. Give me another navigation check.
It's over there.
Oh my God. Dan, helping out with sensors here at all? Oh no. See, look, he puts on the funny hat and he's gone to Pat. Okay, the angel and the cat in the hat do nothing for you. But it's not
Oh,
a
dear.
horrendous failure. So give me a piloting check. See how hard you press that big green window, pilot engage. Very.
Excellent.
I'm assuming this is Google Effects.
Yeah.
Shit, how do you turn them off?
Remove all effects. There's a button there.
Yep, that's what we'll do. Get rid of that. Oh, well, I'm the team leader. I need to be more serious, don't I? I'll go start, while we're in jump space, oh my God, while we're in jump space, I'll be doing a lot of data research. I'll be looking at every single movie I've got to get ideas about how we can overcome this issue.
Okay, you basically spend the entire time watching Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13.
Uh-huh.
They have
Just to
absolutely no
supplement,
choice.
though, I wanna add Aliens 1 and 2.
You're not going to go for Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it could happen. It's a scenario.
Nobody cared about Private Ryan, let's face it.
Mm.
Oh
No.
no. Somebody
It's a
poked
simple-
Kitty's eye out. Okay. I don't believe I just added a beard to my beard. Right, I've got to get out of this thing. Go away, Google
Yeah,
Effects.
yeah.
Look what you've done to me. Oh, I've still got them. Go away.
No, Neil, that's what happens when our ship starts to materialise.
That's really awful.
Molecules
another
just
brick in the
float
wall.
away.
Okay, you actually navigate and hit the pilot button. You do it really firmly this time after the AIs gave you some feedback from the last time. And you basically belt it as hard as you possibly can, and it immediately jumps, and you make good time this time. But you come into Vassal, and you're well and truly too close to Vassal itself. You were meant to jump to the outskirts of the system.
Oh.
And
Oh, crap.
unfortunately, you've actually landed within the outer two planets, which are... I had them here somewhere before. That's all. There we go. The outer two planets are Vector and Lethbird.
Okay, can
And
I ask... Sorry.
You're
No,
up.
sorry.
No,
Can I
you
ask
go.
Anton to get onto the sensors and see if he can pick up any chat to say that we've been spotted? Anton? The monocled one?
Oh, bloody on fire, Anton. Got to say that it's like having Charlie Chaplin join you, but that's okay. I'm so used to Dan being so quite talky, but that's okay. Hopefully not actually on fire. Right, yes, there's quite a bit of chatter going on. However, it's not standard chatter. In fact, it's encrypted chatter.
Oh, right.
Has anybody actually
Who's
got the
our-
comms?
No. Would someone with computer skill be able to do something with it? They'd, like, be able to start creating some sort of
Possibly, yes.
program. Who's got computer, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Anyone?
Has
No
your
one?
medic got computer?
I think so. Tom, have you got your character got computer?
Oh, Tom's away getting non-alcoholic liquid drugs.
Oh,
Then
sorry.
he wrote back. Okay, so I'll have a look at his character.
I'll ask if his character's got the possible capability to start working on something. I know it takes a wee while when you're composing a program, but if there's anything that we can do to try to break the code. In the meantime, Anton, with your sensors, have you been able to place where the enemies are?
Dick has spent some time taking data that you actually transfer or that Anton forwards to her, and says she should be able to do a reasonable job on it.
Cool. Can
Yeah.
Anton?
I'm nothing if not competent.
Cool. So
In my
can Anton give me or give us some locations of where the these signals are originating from, or if he's picked up any actual ships or anything with his sensor sweep?
Okay, Anton's actually with that role. He not only picked up the material, he pinpointed it as well. There is an asteroid belt that circulates between Vassal and its closest planet currently. You're fairly certain in between the binary dwarf stars that rip this place apart. It could have actually been rubble from a previous planet or something similar. But most of the chatter seems to be coming from those. There are identifiable pings from research bases that are on Vassal itself, but these are regular identified pings that Anton was expecting to see, in essence.
Okay. Rightio. So again, this ship is supposed to be fairly well masked from anyone looking for.
Well,
ships.
it was meant to be, but that was if you were actually a little bit further out. Essentially, you jumped in, so there would have been a reasonably large spike because of the jump, and you're in the planetary system, not actually on the outskirts of it.
How close are we to getting to a planet's shadow?
You can. Oh, actually, that's a good question. I'll make a bit of a roll and determine.
Yeah.
Oh, my first GM roll of the night.
Don't do it.
I have to. Sorry, Tom. Actually, with some decent piloting on not Anton's, on Darian's behalf, it's not too far. But the question is whether it's too late or not, which is what Jack is working on.
The purpose of it is to try to give us some time to come up with some sort of other screen, misdirection, and as well as that's pretty much my only thought at the moment. I don't know what anyone else wants to suggest. What's our little mercenary guy suggest, apart from him doing more push-ups?
That's pretty much what he's been doing, and cleaning his weapons and stuff like that. He's a fairly young guy, a bit green around the gills, you think. During the time that you've been travelling with him, Corporal Gerard's shared his story with you. How he'd always wanted to be a Marine. His dad was a Marine, and he was going to be a Marine from the word get-go, and he worked out, and that's why he's a bit of a big guy, but he fell in with the wrong crowd, unfortunately, during his first term. And after training, they decided to try and separate him from them, and he did some training with the cavalry as well. Then they sent him off to a garrison, and and then spent a fair bit of time involved with an internal security outfit. Now, he tries to tell you that he was conducting the internal security yourself, but you're a little bit suspect that it may actually have been that the internal security were quite interested in his goings-on and some of the questionable dealings he did with his companions, so much so that although he never was dishonourably discharged, they never asked him back after the first term. So, but he's a nice, beefy guy, and he likes testing out, and he's always running simulations about shooting things and stuff like that. However, you are surprised by him because he keeps coming up with these references to fine space operas, and he talks about Shakespeare a lot and stuff like that. He completely misses the point on a lot of it.
Ah, okay.
But he seems very well read. I really like that Willy Wobblelands fella, he says. Yeah, he made some funny things. Oh, lots of funny plays. Didn't like the Tempest, though. That was a bit of a downer, he goes. All the rest of them, though, they were a bit uplifting. Okay, so he's he's reasonably educated, but he's about as bright as a dim light bulb or a campfire that went out 5 hours ago.
Beautiful. So, Darian, you got any ideas?
He talks about Sun Tzu. When you come and ask him, what are you going to do? He talks about Sun Tzu a lot. Oh, Sun Tzu said that if you got caught with your pants down, that you should wave it about. And he says, I think there's something in that for both of us.
Yeah. So I don't want to... Okay, first order, none of us are being caught with our pants down, and none of us are waving it about. Okay? Guns, yes. Other stuff, no.
No naked hokey with guns, that's good.
Yes.
Sun Tzu said that if the enemy bleeds a lot, they don't shoot back. I'm sure that's what Sun Tzu said.
And I'm sure one of those Chinese men said, man who has hole in pocket feels cocky all day. But enough of this. Okay, Darian, my idea is for us to get into the shadow of a planet. You got a better idea than that? Just to hide us for a second and try to... Okay, can you do some Nev stuff and just try to get us there? And if nothing else, it gives us a couple of minutes to try to come up with something better. No, I said do some Nev stuff. I think you've got to push that button really hard. I didn't say drive us into the moon of that planet. I said get us into the shadow. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't spell.
What? You mean? You're an engineer? Oh, great stuff. Okay. Can anyone do navigation? But you just said you're an engineer.
Darian, you've proven quite clearly you can't do navigation.
Okay, so am I to take it that you navigate around the engineering section of the ship? Is that what you're telling me?
No, he can navigate from bar to bar and on his own planet.
Okay, Darian, find me the closest bar that's in the shadow of that planet.
Wording it like that may actually work.
It's just finding motivation, that's all. Okay. Well, I don't think we need to pursue this any longer. Anton? Okay.
He's essentially plotted a course. It's not the most efficient course, but he's plotted a course there.
While we're moving there in true fake asteroid fashion, I would like Anton just to monitor.
You're not in the fake asteroid yet. You're not actually in the fake asteroid yet.
Yeah, no,
yes,
in the. Oh, we're in a ship.
Yes, you're in a ship that's going to launch the fake asteroid.
Oh crap! We definitely be. Okay, we need to be in a shadow of something so they don't see it being launched, because otherwise they'll just track the vector straight back to the ship.
Okay, what did you ask Anton for his, was it sensors that you asked
I
him
was just
for?
going to ask him to keep a watchful eye on any information or any objects that seem to be heading our way,
Okay, no
or
worries.
information or increased activity in our general direction.
And I'm assuming that's what that role was for, Anton, so that's cool. Sensor censoring.
Correct.
I'd like to censor quite a bit of this. Okay.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the other ring to join this 3-ring get up.
So, Decker, did you, or Tom, did you see that message I put up in chat?
Yeah. For the binary communication thing.
Once you decrypt and you actually you do a actually really nice decryption program, and it pulls it out of the communication is machine language, machine code language, that appears to be being communicated between multiple machines.
Right.
There was a spike. You're not entirely certain, unless you can work out what the machines are that are communicating. You're not exactly certain what the machine code applies to or the instruction set you should be using, but you're expanding out on that sort of idea at the moment. But there was a spike of communication as you jumped into system. There seems to be a lot more communication than when Anton did his search or censoring than there is currently.
So Decker tells me that this is in machine code and there's a lot of machine code, machine to machine talking to each other or something.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're saying?
Especially in
okay, right here, guys. I've seen this in a movie. It was called Terminator. What happens is that, and I go into a big, huge, long discussion about it. So, with that understanding, yes, Skynet, all that sort of stuff. With that understanding, what are we going to do? Yes. Okay. That's one option. Thank you, Dario. Anyone got anything else?
Hey, Neil, I've noticed that all the hair on your head has slipped from your head onto your chin.
Ed Badger.
No, we couldn't get any nukes. I did suggest nuke them from orbit, but no one actually wanted to.
Okay, it's around about now, and on the it appears to be nothing more than a rock from the asteroid field breaks off and starts heading in the general direction of the planet you're beginning to hide behind.
Okay, guys, they've got us. They've marked us. They just marked us. So we're going to have to get away from this ship and try to become an asteroid. Is this planet ringed by any chance?
I'm going to have to make my second GM roll. Jeez, I wish you'd stop that. Bloody Kiwis.
Sorry, it's just GM thinking.
No, it's alright. I can't actually say bloody Kiwis. I've married a Kiwi and I'm drinking Kiwi wine, so I can't really say anything else.
Oh, that's why you're having the reaction you're having. The wine bit, I mean.
Yes, it is actually a ringed planet.
Okay, cool. So we can hide in amongst the ring. Okay, Darian, if you can hide us in a most appropriate place. Have you? Which one?
One of the Star Wars ones.
Okay. Okay, now we're beginning to have a plan, folks. Now we're talking a common language.
A giant space worm.
Oh.
Yes. The possibility of surviving this asteroid storm is 26,532,161 to 1. Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, never tell me the odds. Okay, well, let's find an asteroid to park nearby, but not in.
Okay, is that a piloting check, Darian?
Yes.
That's a bit worse than rolling a 12.
Yeah. And just before you do... Oh, no, you've done it. Okay. Yeah.
Just before you pilot in there... Oh, shit, he's done it.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'm alive to say that, so I'm happy.
Why can't I see the planet anymore? Oh, crap, he's already flown in.
Okay, guys. So what are we doing? We bought ourselves hopefully a little bit of time. You get that other ship that jumped us in. Let's get into the asteroid. Get into there. Transfer. Park in orbit where we need to. Send the other ship quickly on. With as minimal amount of deviation and time, so it's going to look like it had just a straight line and didn't do anything, it didn't drop us off, and doing something, get it to do something malicious somewhere over there as if it's planned to do that all along, and then jump out.
Is this the ship you're abandoning?
Yes.
You mean they didn't give us someone to jump that ship out and be able to pilot the other ship in?
No, pretty much you guys were the ones flying in, and it was meant to be...
Darian, you're going to have a very quiet time in jump space for the next week while we try to do this.
No, you were meant
then we're going to be dead.
You were meant to have that ship on the outskirts of the system, because you've got a skilled navigator and pilot, and then you were meant to abandon that ship into the asteroid ship with him as the ship's boat captain, fly it down in a nice arc that actually brought yourself down to where you decided to arrive at, whether it's
do our job and then get back to the ship and jump.
Or the asteroid, and then you were meant to do the job and get back. So
yes. Okay, can you bury the jump ship deep in the asteroid field on a big enough asteroid? And I don't mean literally, I mean figuratively, Darian.
You don't want to crash it, is that what you're saying?
I just don't want us to literally be buried. I just want to be...
Watched this movie where this guy landed on the tongue of a big giant worm.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that one. Well, okay, but we've got a good piloting role, so I'm assuming we've got a pretty good relatively
okay, Darian manoeuvres rather carefully. No matter what the golden robot's saying as it wanders around, you don't know where he comes from. He just keeps coming out going, oh, I know 5 billion languages.
Yes, okay, so, yeah, righto, shut down. Let's shut down this ship, get into the asteroid, load everything in, and then take off. And just keep this totally cold, trying to make it look as much as possible as part of the asteroid. But Darian, can you make one thing a note of where we've parked the jump ship?
Roger.
Right.
It's in the
Why do you need
asteroid field of some planet.
Right.
I can tell you the name of the planet if you really must know it.
It's in the rings.
You've parked it in the rings of Vector.
Right.
Excellent.
Vector hasn't smiled as much for such a long time.
Excellent. Always nice to make someone or something smile. Okay, rightio, Darian, get us the hell out of here in the rock.
Okay, where are you headed to? I need to know where you think you're heading to. Are you heading to Basil the planet? Or are you heading to where?
What I want us to do is actually come out the same side we went in the rock, in a slightly elliptical orbit if we can, and cut across roughly on the outer part of where most of the chatter was caught by Anton in the asteroid belt. So we cut across the belt, but at the edge of it. So we're sort of,
They can get a visual, but not conspicuously so. Look at this new asteroid joining the asteroid belt. Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
That'll be a navigation check there. Probably helped by some sensors from Anton to start off with, I'd say. I'll give you a bonus if Anton comes up with some nice sensors.
Please, 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 Anton.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Tom's
A nice navigation check. I'll give you a +2 onto the roll because Anton's a bloody legend.
Okay, now, as we're flying away from the ship, I just want to ask everyone, have you all remembered to turn everything off, including the gas and the stove and the TV and the nightlight? That ship is dead dark, yeah?
Oh, nobody mentioned the iron.
Put your black jumpers on.
I had a download going.
And remember a hanky.
Okay, just one thing I forgot to ask, and I guess it's really important right now. Does the shipboat have a fresher?
Have a what?
A fresher.
A fresher.
A toilet.
Oh,
Toilet.
okay.
Shower.
I just suddenly thought, is that one of the things I thought wasn't necessary for the
Must be
mission?
a Kiwi thing. No, it's it's one of those toilets that was made by
In
The
China.
China.
Medtech's got an emergency crap unit that you can just attach to your ass if you really need to.
Okay, right.
No, it's one of those toilets that was made for the NASA space station by the Big Bang Theory fella.
Yeah.
Excellent. I haven't seen the episode, sorry, so
You
not quite
haven't?
got the reference, no.
He gets all of his mates together because he worked out that there was a fatal flaw with the toilet system he designed for the International Space Station system. And they go, "What's the potential flaw?" And he pulls out a version of it and starts shooting crap up onto the roof.
Yeah, okay, an asteroid that suddenly has shit propelled away from it or frozen, you're right. Not a good idea. Not a
Yeah,
good idea.
that's not just hankies. That's a Mr. Hanky Drive.
It's a Hanky Drive. Engage Hanky Drive.
We're out of fuel.
Hanky
Just
Drive.
give me a minute.
Yeah. I had some pasta. I'm just about there. Okay.
I'm gonna turn
shoveling curry in your face.
I'll turn into the New Zealander and go, "Yes, there's a fresher there."
Beautiful.
I feel so New Zealandish.
A fresher is a traveller term, but not a Kiwi term.
Traveller term.
Is it?
Yes, it's on
Okay,
ship design.
fair enough.
Yeah. No, over here we call our toilets just toilets.
I trust you.
Yeah, cool. If that Kiwi
Oh,
wine
sure
can
you
tell
do.
We do. Okay, would someone like to help me here gain some sort of sense of direction? We're travelling towards the asteroid field. Cool.
Yeah, we need a navigation roll from. We're pretty much waiting for a navigation roll from your pilot.
Fine.
Way too many navigation rolls in this game.
Oh,
Ooh, look at that.
golf clap, golf clap.
He navigates the hell out of that.
No, it's genius.
For you.
Okay, I just
That's
want
actually
Anton.
14 with the bonus from Anton.
Nice. Just want Anton to continue monitoring sensors to see if there's any deviation in that
Yep.
asteroid or any other asteroids that start leaving the field. I told you she was into replicants.
Okay, now give me a piloting check as you take the asteroid out of the belt field or the belt of that planet I said you were going from. Oh, Darian's on fire finally. He literally was on fire.
Put him out, put him out. This is a small enclosed space. How big is it
You
inside this
take off
ship?
and you hit the perfect elliptical orbit.
Yeah.
It's pretty cozy.
Okay.
Pretty cozy.
Okay.
Essentially, you're all
Cozy,
sitting in.
We're in the cheapest economy class
You're sitting in.
airplane, aren't we?
Oh, it's not quite that cozy,
Okay, rightio.
but you're all in slings that are very, it's the G-forces hit you. You do feel each other's bodies as you're pressed up against one another until the G-forces lower and whatnot. The life support sort of cocoons going on. It runs cold. You actually need to be in life support cocoons as you fly. Essentially,
I've got my combat
all of the manoeuvring is done via really tiny thrusts of actually
Cool.
pressurized gas rather than actually burn or anything like that to make it appear like it's an actual asteroid. Once
Sweet.
you need to get off a planet or out of a planetoid's gravitational field, etc., you do have some burn though, so there is that negative.
So you're
'Cause
saying
it's gonna-
technically we could be using the hanky drive.
We could be.
Actually sounded like I knew
but
what I was
it's-
talking about then for a moment.
It's just nice to know that we do have the capability to actually brake if we really need to. Yeah.
You do. Okay, you start coming in. Anton, give me another sensor check. As you come close into the asteroid thing, it takes about a day of travelling this way. Oh, God, where are all these
Okay,
12s
guys.
coming from?
That gives us 2 days on board this ship left, so we're going to need a day out. So we've only got a day left.
Okay, you detect that one of the larger asteroids, which is an asteroid that's pretty much about it's around about 10 kilometres across, is where the centre for most of this communication is coming from. It's being emitted from a certain point. There's also sort of like a pattern to the don't believe I'm telling you this, but there's a pattern that comes from that particular asteroid. It's a very mechanical pattern that seems to be, the communication seems to be going to and from machines in that central asteroid to other asteroids that seem to form almost a communications array structure or a sensor array structure. You realise that this sensor array style or structure is something that is scientifically proven to enhance weak signals from a great distance. So it's actually a serious communication person that's put in. Mechanist activity, give me another sensor array and I'll tell you. Not 100% certain. You definitely know that there's no human involvement in this communication. So it could be, yeah. The mechanists are very well known for their high-tech stuff.
Which means getting close enough to it to blow it up is going to be really difficult. But if we come in from the sun side, where they perhaps think that they are relatively more safe, there might be less defences on that side.
What's the relationship of our course to that asteroid?
Currently, you were just sort of making a passing side through or near the asteroid belt. Give me a navigation check before I reveal.
I thought you said we're about 10 k's away. Was that the size of the... Yeah?
No, the asteroid itself is about 10 k's across, but
okay.
you're about 10 to 15 k's out from the actual belt's edge to have a look at this information. However, you do note that using your knowledge of physics and navigation combined, that you could possibly plot a course that would spiral your way in towards the asteroid as if you've just been caught by the asteroid belt's gravity field.
That's going to take a while though, isn't it?
It will, but it could be you could put it into an orbit around the main structure and actually do a space jump.
That's our best bet. If we come in too obvious a course, they're going to know that it's artificial.
Yeah, but I'm just worried that we're not going to have enough time to get to the jump ship, and like, you know, asphyxiation is something we can't deal with.
True.
But
we've got 3 days of life support on board the ship. We've used one getting here, therefore we're going to use probably one getting back.
No, you'll use less getting back, especially if you burn it.
Right, okay.
If you engage thrusters and actually burn your way out of the system, you will get there a lot quicker.
Okay, if we're going to do an orbit thing, I don't want to test the limits of the defense system, so perhaps just, you know, try to maintain roughly the same distance, perhaps a bit closer to get your orbit, but...
Essentially, he can navigate it into a position where it will actually orbit naturally. So you'll be able to shut everything down, it should orbit naturally and follow a predictable course.
That's cool, but we still need support.
You are relying on Darian's navigation for that.
I have total faith in him. He saw it in a movie once.
Everything is awesome.
Finding Nemo, wasn't it? I've never actually seen it, but the story you tell me about
is awesome. I hate that song.
I haven't seen that movie, but it's going to be okay.
Excellent. Oh, this mission could be over real quick. There you go, matey. It's up to you.
Was the 9 good enough?
Actually, all of his engineering skills were learnt from watching the Lego Movie.
Excellent. I think that's a very valuable...
I haven't seen it either, so there we go.
Oh, it's an awesome movie.
Don't do it. It's
I had no plans of doing it.
Yes,
it's awesome.
You'll save yourself sanity.
Summon the movie watching this to get to Guardians of the Galaxy. That's about all I manage, I reckon.
Just a
That's
sec.
gonna be fun.
Right.
Legal
So
is
yes.
so cool.
Okay. If Neil's nipping off, I'm going to grab another drink, and then we'll be back, and we'll see what he does. Won't be a tick.
I think he rolled a 9.
Hmm?
I think he rolled a 9 for it. You go get your drink, mate, but I think you already rolled the 9 for it.
No, that was me asking him to come up with a navigation check to see what he could
Oh,
do.
sorry.
Won't be a tick.
So Anton, and Decker, when did we reveal to the other two that we're actually double agents?
Double agents or what?
Yeah, double agents. When did we reveal that to them? When we backed them?
If you like.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just shooting the breeze, talking shit. Okay. So you guys got any plans? Anything you think we need to do to?
Sorry, animal
Yeah, just
wrangling.
before we space them. That's cool. Yeah.
God.
Shh! Don't
Just before
tell
we space.
Darian anything. I mean, hello, Darian.
Why are you going to space me?
No, we're not. No, we're not. Not at all. Never entered our heads at all.
Collision course.
Yeah. Double agents? What's that? Anyway.
No,
I
you
know.
haven't.
I know. Yeah. No, I think Decker did a Mr. Hankey or a Ms. Hankey.
I know. I actually thought the accountant would have in our Lark Song adventure, but he didn't either. And he was the biggest psycho that you could ever come across. Sorry, Justin, when you watch this. He was a really lovely person.
So we're drifting in.
Yep.
Okay, so, well, you need to actually now give me that navigation check to set up the course.
Oh, okay. This is a different one, is it? Because I did that right.
Yeah, the
9.
first one was just to see
Okay.
what you could do. I'll give it to you with the combination of the previous one, so that's fine.
Okay.
There was a +1 bonus of already having considered it and done some of the calculations in your head properly. That you actually identified a couple of the wrong calculations when you made them. Okay, so you start spiraling in. The asteroid itself will come into a natural orbit that you think you can predict.
Can Anton do any passive sensors just to try to pick up more detail on the asteroid?
Sure. Anton,
I'm just looking for defenses, yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Airlocks, any movement on it.
Anton has a RISC computer with his own little AI upon it, which actually has quite a few sensor materials upon it, basically because he's a sensor person. And he actually picks up that there is some unnatural material moving amongst the asteroid field. Seems to be of metallic construct, but it also appears to be tiny in comparison to the asteroid material.
Ooh, micrometeor, microbombs, beautiful.
Well, not microforms. Like when I say absolutely tiny in comparison to the asteroid field, I mean that they would be about...
A foot?
No, larger than a foot, probably anywhere between 5 to 10 feet.
Great. Shitbusters.
Metal sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he points out, essentially, hang on, I better hit my shift button.
Yeah.
There actually is a large metal entrance, like a docking bay into the asteroid itself, which you weren't picking up from a distance. Seems to be, and he picks this up from his visual sensors. The electromagnetic sensors aren't picking up any metal sort of structure like that you would normally get from a normal docking bay.
Okay. This here and these areas here is this actual illumination, or is it just like specks of light that reflect?
Some of them are light that's reflecting off rock, splintered rock portions and stuff like that, smaller asteroids, etc. But a couple of those would be some of these metal structures that Anton's coming up with.
Great. Okay. And obviously, these ships here aren't part of the picture just yet. Hopefully, we'll never get to see them. Down below.
I was thinking about having you come in this ship, but then I thought another asteroid would be cool.
Cool.
These other little ships aren't there.
Okay, guys, what do you think of trying to land here, or perhaps just over the horizon here, and then trekking through, down, and then seeing about getting in closer? It's altogether, it's only...
Shut up.
it's only 30 feet, guys. We could do that real quick.
Hang on a minute. I'll fix your bloody little... There we go. Now measure it, turd hopper.
Well, we need the measurements, so that's okay. Yeah, whatever. It's become 30 kilometers. I insist that it go back to the 30 feet that we had in the original sensor suite. Okay, sweet. So it's a 30-kilometer walk in space, which I think we can all do with ease on an asteroid if we need to. What do you think?
Yeah.
Corporal
Okay.
Garrett's all up for it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'd just like to remind him that, as from what I can see of all of his armament, none of it is zero-G suitable. So don't start shooting things until you're inside the building, if you have to. Otherwise, you will propel yourself, unless you've got zero-G combat, away from the asteroid.
You know, that's
And
what
I
one of
don't
my
intend to pick
lieutenants
you
said
up.
once. Soon before
I
I became
saw in the movie.
popular.
Well, I've actually experienced this one too. So I just want to
Sir,
remind
yes,
you
sir.
about that.
I will not fire until you command so.
Oh, great. Okay. You
Oh.
can sit in the asteroid and twiddle your thumbs then.
I
No,
didn't tell you
okay.
it was very small robots. I didn't say it was very small robots. I didn't say that at all.
I just think we should get to an orbit point here below the horizon. Oh, why am I not going the right place? Over this side somewhere, and then do as quick as possible a space. Changing things. A spacewalk to get to that horizon just below it, and then walk up and over. What do you guys think? Yeah.
I like it.
Anyone got any other ideas? I think that might work better. I mean, because we've got.
Drill our way
that's a-
through.
I'm just let's take a couple of orbital rotations since we're here. On the other side that's around there, and on the other side that's around there,
Mm-hmm.
under there if we can see, because I can't see anything up here, are there any more illuminated lights or structures on those faces of the asteroid?
No, that's the only structure that you can see into this asteroid.
That's really weird. Because those are the sides they would look that they're presenting as feeling quite safe on, so they don't have anything, which leads me to believe that they do have something there that we can't detect.
Maybe they're relying
There
on
are
this
quite a few
sensor array.
craters on it, though, that are quite deep,
Yeah.
that you can't get any reading on inside for,
Do we
for
have-
very much
yeah.
further. Unless you
We
want to
have-
actively pick.
I think you're overthinking.
No.
No,
I'm not that good at thinking about overthinking thinking. So.
okay. I'm just applying my movie logic here with military things, and
Let's hope
usually the
this
most-
movie's not Event Horizon.
This is not a movie, goddammit.
no, it had three very intelligent people, Curly, Mo, and no, anyway. Is there an asteroid impact zone like that where we don't get very good readings on that side or that side? And which one would be
There is
closer
on the-
to this?
There are quite a few asteroid marks. There's only three asteroid marks. There's one that's right on the bottom,
Yeah.
so down here-ish sort of area.
Yeah.
Especially where all this sort of debris, etc., seems to be crashing around, whereas most portion of it.
Which would
There's
be really
two
dangerous,
on
wouldn't it?
this side.
Okay. How are
There's
they
two
close?
on that side.
Okay. How close are they to the
They are
horizon there?
to this thing.
To the horizon here.
Oh, to the
How far
horizon.
around are they?
Okay, the closest, they're actually almost in vertical alignment, so they're both practically the same distance away from the horizon there, and it'll be about a 2 kilometre space.
Okay. Rightio. Okay, guys. Just having this pointed out to me seems a bit of a challenge, but it could also be it's the longest route, but it could be the safest place to get on this thing. Down here at the bottom.
Gives a lot of cover.
It would, but it would be potentially the most dangerous to be hit by micrometeorites and fragments and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just not... So we can't get any readings, or just not clear readings from these crater impacts. Which one was it? Sorry, Mark.
Give me another check, Anton. Let's see. It depends on how much time you're going to spend scanning them. Anton tells you...
10 or so rotations around there before we make any sort of decision, I reckon.
Okay, which will take you about a quarter of a day to do.
Whoa. Okay, well, we've got the time. It's just going to be quick to go back.
That's fine, just filling out the time for you. Anton does the checks. There is an exit that does have the same kind of structures, chemical structures that are found in this crater that aren't found in any of the two that are up top, but the exit down here actually has a similar chemical readout. And also the echolocations that he does manage to ping off it at random, because you go around 10 times, you can do it randomly and actually get a reasonable makeup of it, suggests that that crater is much, much deeper than any other crater on the rock, apart from the one that's obviously an open entrance.
Hey guys, the obvious one or the more secretive one? The one that seems to be more protected?
What if we...
By the way, just so this adds to your discussion, and Anton's on fire with his sensors currently. He's censoring a lot of stuff, but what he does tell you is that there are a much larger concentration of the metal 5 to 10 foot things around here than there are down here. Although there is a thermal signature down here that's much higher than here.
What if we jump across down here? How far down?
Are you talking underneath it or onto that face?
Underneath it.
Underneath, yeah.
And then make our way to... Whereabouts is the other entrance down here?
It's almost practically where you got your arrow, so it's about 5 kilometres.
What do we think? And then we're sort of under the cover of this ice debris.
Yeah, I'd be more happy to come from this side because we've got things poking up, metallic, human-made, whatever, machine-made things somewhere along over on this side that might be detectors, I don't know.
And also, I'll add to the conversation again from Anton's roll because I just noticed it was an 11 and not a 10. These metallic things are actually communicating amongst themselves with the same kind of binary code.
Okay.
Much weaker than what you picked up, but they are communicating with each other.
So let's go in over here and across.
Yeah, if we go to the bottom, I think that would be the safer route. Can Deca, with her limited computer sciences, does she have enough time to create any sort of Trojan that, or anything that we can sort of...
Well, that's a bit complicated.
Okay.
Well, give me another computer check still, Deca, because you were investigating to see if you could find out what sort of systems they were using. So give me a computer check. Okay.
Windows XP.
Come on, it's 95. It's the only safe system. Um,
ME.
1987. That can't be XP.
ME. Oh God.
Okay. Decker
Crash
doesn't
Course
get what you want. Decker
Windows.
doesn't get what you want, but
Windows 2. 1987.
Decker does notice that the system is peculiar to the mechanists,
Okay.
and it's a military system. So therefore,
Great.
she doesn't think she's got the skill to actually crack it.
Cool.
Great.
So our option with that is to ignore it or shut it down somehow, really, because we can't physically. I mean, not software-wise.
Yep.
If that's an objective, I don't know. Okay. So how does everyone feel? Let me know. How does everyone feel about an approach from this side to come around to go into here? About a 7 kilometer trek on the asteroid itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Cool. Okay. Anyone got a problem with it?
No, sir.
Okay. Rightio. Has Anton
Like maybe
detected?
old was the other way.
Has Anton detected any defense systems at the moment?
Yes, definitely.
Where? And what sort? Are we talking
There
lasers,
are-
missiles?
Rim of around this eye,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of what you're calling it, is a ring of missile systems, missile defense systems. They're active missile defense systems that are sending active sonar out into, not sonar. Sonar wouldn't work in space, you retard, Mark.
Cosmic radar.
Yes. Ooh, that's going to work
I saw
well.
it on a movie.
It's scanning using an infrared sort of detection system that heads out. There are also nodes buried into various sections of the asteroid as well, which seems to be clusters of arrays. But they also seem to be... Oh, has anybody got tactics or ship's tactics?
Yep.
From the deafening silence, I'm going to suggest no. So there also seem to be clusters of arrays at odd positions.
Okay. So my question would be, around the area here where we're thinking of landing and moving across to, is there any arrays, those such arrays there?
The arrays, there are a couple, but they're very interspersed. There seems to be a lot of turmoil down in this area, by the way, because this area of the asteroid is actually dragging through a much smaller, densely packed asteroid sort of thing. So this area here that you're pointing at is actually a much less guarded point, because they're thinking possibly that the natural defences of the asteroid belt causing that turmoil is defense enough. Plus, it's also if you were to own this asteroid, you would think that it would cost you way too much in replacing sensor points.
Cool. I guess that's our only option, guys, to try to remain undetected as much as possible. Okay, so when we get closest apogee, is it, to the spot around, like a half a click or something around that side there, we'll try to go as low as we can. How low, Mark, can we sort of go on that sort of horizon thing there? Safely, yeah, and half a click around.
Anton, I think they're asking you again, not me. Oh, God.
Excellent work.
Roll double one! Right, I mean, awesome work. I'm a fan of the players. Okay, Anton tells you that the circumference, you really sort of can reach this point, right where the massive clouding and the debris sort of points to. It's actually seeming to force it down. Where it's going through, some's being sprayed up, but it's going out from the asteroid. Most of it, though, is going down and away from the asteroid, so you can get really close to it. where there doesn't seem to be any array systems at all.
Excellent. Does an 11 help me plot that course?
Well, yes. If you'll go, yeah, I'll go, well, why the hell not? You can make a navigation check to make this jump safer. I also want to know how you're doing this jump. Are you connecting each other to each other, or are you just going, right?
So,
And Darian said, go that way.
I'm going to ask Darian to give me coordinates and understand that, because I operate in space with the little air pistol gun thing that gives me movement. Hopefully have the experience using my zero-G environment and my VEC suit and every other variable off the prospectors thing to make a move from our asteroid to land us on that asteroid at roughly, I'm thinking about here.
Okay, no worries. Then in that case,
and half a click around the back.
Darian, give me a navigation check with a +2. So when it comes up and says, what's your modifier, put in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you provide that for everybody. Now, everybody has a +2 on top of their zero-G skill. If they don't have zero-G, they have +2. You can also add your vac suit skill. So if you actually have a positive vac suit skill, that will also be fine to add.
Okay. Are you using the maneuver modifiers from deltas or not? Sorry, it's just that the VEC suit actually doesn't just give you it doesn't just give you a +1, it gives you a range depending on what you're doing and what you're carrying and the G and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it that technically.
Okay, that's cool. I just need to know because I'm just wanting to know which way I need to approach it, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Anton jumps and he seems to be going in the right direction.
Cool. So that's VEC suit 1, 0G environment 1, and 2, so that's +4 all up. Is that right? Have I got that right? Yeah?
Corporal Jared seems to be on the right course too.
I just managed to make it.
Zap, you let off a lot of gas on your way, but you actually managed to get it, and it may not all have been from your little gas gun either.
It's okay, the other stuff doesn't propel me.
Roughly to the point where they're at.
Yeah.
Darian, you making the jump, or are you just going to say, no, screw it, I'm going to stay here and soak up the life support?
I made the jump.
You made it, did you? Already?
Well, that's what I rolled. 14.
Oh, you did that there, 12. Good job. Okay, damn, I didn't kill anybody. None of you floated off into space.
Decker.
I mean, I'm a fan of the players.
Yeah. Decker?
Yay!
Decker?
Yes?
Oh, yes, Decker, are you going?
You have a vac suit or combat armor?
No.
So it's a 2d6
You
+2 skill.
didn't buy vac suit or a combat armor.
Oh, she's got a vac suit.
Okay.
Like combat armor, not really my thing.
But you do have vac suit 0, so give me a roll with the +2.
Okay.
Okay. With all those awesome rolls in there, I'm going to assume that one of you actually grabbed her as she was beginning to head off path. I mean, for Christ's sakes, bloody Darian got a 14. He was probably
a feeble lady. Yeah.
Darian was probably pirouetting along like a space ballet dancer or something.
Probably doing a bit of flexing.
So you say you're an engineer. Okay. We're on there. Let's just move carefully, slowly.
Right, you land on the rock.
Yep. Anton, can you start doing sensor sweeps as we move? Sorry. Yeah, the rocket
absolutely. Anton, no, you're right. Anton's doing a reasonably, a great job at this. You actually see that this is quite this portion of the asteroid. Anton actually manages to find that this is definitely used to be some form of planet that existed in this solar system, but it's been ripped apart by the dual dwarf stars inside the system itself. You're walking along basically igneous rock, and occasionally sort of, you see Anton bend over, pick up a rock, flick it at one of them, and you see there are actually fossils in this rock, so it was probably a life-bearing, well, it was definitely probably a life-bearing planet that has fossils. But it was definitely a life-bearing planet that held fossils, etc. And fossils of not simple modifications or anything like this. These are multicellular life forms that show plants as well as flora and fauna as well as you're going along. It's quite if you were a science nerd, you're actually having a wonderful time at the moment, and you actually managed to forget for a moment that you're actually here to investigate perhaps a military structure.
Right, I was just prospecting.
Yeah,
didn't do terribly well, but just prospecting.
You're actually looking at the stuff that Anton's flicking up at you, going, I could make decent money at the space bar, at the space station. Tourists would love this sort of shit. But you also know that you're here for a little bit more of a serious material, and Anton's also doing such a good job at moving along. You don't actually see any large seams of ore or anything like that.
Okay.
But Anton's actually leading you exceptionally well, keeping sensors. You actually do come close with some rather large sort of asteroids striking and breaking down, but Anton's always just that 20 seconds ahead of the strike.
Great.
And he manages to keep you safe for the trip around to the point where you...
This reminds me of a movie called Armageddon. Anyway, I asked the doctor...
You didn't bring the nuke.
No.
They wouldn't give us one.
No, we've got a Darien though. That might help if we ask him to pilot the asteroid somewhere. I asked the doctor if she can continue as she's moving. Is there any way she can continue to try to break into the communications any further or make any more sense of it? Is there any way she can do that while we're travelling?
Give me a computer check, please, Decker.
Okay. Rolling. Once I scroll up far enough to get that one.
Cool. Okay. Also, Darien.
Okay. Well, each of you, and I think I might have described this. You're right, Joe.
Sorry. I'm just going to ask Darien to, while he's moving, just to try to do some navigation plotting, working about if we're on where that circle is, sort of what we might need to face if we need to evacuate really quickly to get to our asteroid if it's circling in the area above that circle, so to speak. So if he can have some sort of rough estimate, pre-planned emergency exit if we need it, if he can give us like coordinates or vectors or whatever with his navigation skill.
Stretch.
You want the evacuation plan with the all employees will meet at point A and wait for emergency services.
Just try to plan ahead.
He does a good job though.
Alright, there's your evac plan.
Beautiful.
Provides you with a safe point, but he provides it with timing, so you actually get several different points with timings that give you the best opportunity to get back to the ship.
Right.
I was gonna say it's all vector and time dependent.
That's right. And I understand that because.
Okay, getting back to Decker. Decker, as all of you do, you may have read it on my blog, you may not have, but I talk about everybody having sort of little AIs that sit on their wrists and stuff like that. Decker's been working through the communications that's been coming from it and has actually managed to crack enough of the code that she can determine emergency signals. Okay, because the emergency signals, due to time constraints, she has determined do not have the same encryption levels. And so she can actually pluck out emergency signals and their meanings.
Okay, what's she got for us then?
Well, she has, from the sensor arrays, especially around sort of like the band that comes along. Where are we? I want my draw shape chart right there. Okay, so the sensor array band that seems to be concentrated most at this level. Okay, that's where the largest sort of level of sensor bands are
Yes.
to the bottom portion of this asteroid. If you consider that the
Yeah.
bottom, it might be the top. You don't know. You're
Yeah.
in space. But that sensor band there, whenever an asteroid comes close to striking the sensors, they send off a signal which actually triggers a shield response to protect the sensor array. And she can actually predict that now. And she can predict it because there's no encryption, in essence, to those messages. And the binary that comes through is a very standard code that the mechanists use often in their sensor array packages.
Makes sense.
Okay. Does she have a vector to get into that to actually send off false signals and shut down true signals?
Oh, hell
would that
yeah,
be
she
too
can do that
much?
if you want.
Cool. Okay, not yet, but if she can start preparing programs for both of those that she can activate at a push of a button, that'd be great.
That'll be really handy,
absolutely.
actually.
Currently, that's a sensor array. She's not getting anywhere with these little silver bits. Oops,
That's something else.
it is
And
definitely something
military.
else.
And military in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll just keep on trekking, following Anton's best laid path until
Okay,
we
well, you
get with it
basically,
visual.
Anton's done a beautiful job. He's delivered you essentially to the lip of the crater.
Cool. So, using my enhanced visual pack that I bought, and anyone else who's bought the same thing, what do we see? What can we relate to those who don't have it?
Okay, you have a look down. It really does. It's what? So give me a prospecting check. Actually, is that?
Okay.
Sorry, just taking all the silly stuff out.
Just.
Okay. You look down into the lip of the crater and you suddenly realise it's obvious to you as the nose on Decker's face that this is not a crater strike. This is a man-made structure made to look like a crater strike.
Okay.
You can tell, you can see the machine marks, you can see
Yeah.
everything that you use when you're prospecting and that you're a belter out in the thing. You can see the different, you can even almost tell the brand on various versions of them because you're just so familiar with this stuff. And you just go, okay, you needed to be this close to see it, but you can tell that this is an artificial environment.
Okay, can I, well, I'll relay my intuition to everyone else. Can I infer, is there a centralized point or a point of origin, apart from obviously the center, but is there like any remaining tech or devices or vehicles or anything that have a centralized structure within the crater or surrounding the crater? A sort of a centralized information point or command center, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Has anybody got engineering? Definitely not the
No.
engineer, I know that, but has anybody got engineering?
No.
No, my closest
No?
is mech.
Give me a mechanical check, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll give you a neg to it, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Probably not much.
I only gave you a neg 1, so it's perfect. This structure, while it is definitely a natural, you actually picking out quite a bit of thermal signature. And this structure itself is probably some kind of venting structure, where it's venting probably fusion reactor or something similar out into space, so it's losing heat. However, what you have determined is this sort of structure is definitely something that will be monitored very closely. And from your knowledge of such structures, and because Belters work out of asteroids like this as well, they have their little communities in burrowed out asteroids, etc. So this is something that's reasonably familiar with you. And you pinpoint 4 locations within the crater that might actually open into mechanical structures that Belters would use to monitor and or send work crews to work from, to make sure that whatever is going on here works fine.
Okay. With that information, just Anton, can he just keep on, because I don't feel we need to sit too long in one place. Can he just keep on relaying any sensory information that he's getting from his checks as we move to the second furthest one away first?
What are you asking Anton to focus on? Are you asking to focus on...
Focus on, well, I need him to do 2 jobs at once. Protect us from whatever might be coming in from above. Even though they do have a defensive ring around there, it still could let some stuff through.
Okay, so you're asking...
And any activity in the crater.
I just want to know whether it's outwards or inwards you're asking him to look at.
Both. Okay, well, we'll just have to take our chances with outwards, so inwards, because that's where we're moving to and through.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, let me understand this. They're using the ice field to mask the thermal signature that's being vented through that port, yeah?
Yep, absolutely. That's also where a large amount of these steam clouds are coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't be steam clouds, it'd be ice crystals.
Well, yes. Okay, fair enough.
Residue.
But it looks like a steam cloud. You've got to give you that. Looks like. I'm going to start calling you James, Neil. Just because I used to have a player that used to come to these and he always used to call me on my science. But that's okay. I actually want him back. He would play a computer expert. I've been wooing him. Okay, Anton focuses on the points that you give him and say it's either going to be there, or there, and immediately gets a hit. Strong communication in the area that's nearest to you. It's machine communication. Not a sensor array. It's more. Oh, well, actually, no. You need Decker to give you that sort of information. But there's a lot of information that's being spread from this one particular point, which is about less than 300 meters from you.
Okay. How close is the next closest point that we might use as a hidey hole?
The way they've done this structure, there's actually quite a few hidey holes about the place. They have done a very good job of making it look like an asteroid impact, which means it's full of crevasses and stuff like that. But when you're this close, i.e. standing in the crater, it's quite obvious that it's been chiseled out or drilled out by various materials and laser drills and all those sorts of things.
Is Anton able to pick up how, what sort of level or power of sensor sweeps they're using at this thing? The question I'm getting basically is how close can we get before we're actually picked up as motion?
They're not sensors. Whatever is communicating out of that bunker is not a sensor.
Okay, radio, cool. Okay, well let's get to a close hidey hole so we can observe a bit closer if everyone's willing to move to that. Yeah? So how close can we get to the nearest hidey hole?
Quite close. You can actually move up along a ridge that will bring you to a point where the entryway to this particular monitoring station would be.
Okay, let's get as close as that then.
as you do so.
Yeah. Also, Anton, once we sort of are in that place, if he can do a sweep above just to make sure we're not going to get rained down upon by a whole lot of micrometeorites that the defense system blew up. I'm a paranoid person.
It's okay, you're a belter.
Yeah.
You'd be paranoid. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So.
Paranoid or dead.
Belters are always looking for that next lot of ore, but they're also looking for the next asteroid that'll kill them.
Yeah. Yeah. You only get profit if you're alive.
Question of
So what do we see when we get? Sorry.
It's a question of are you paranoid enough?
Yeah. Am I going to be paranoid enough?
Just because paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you.
That's right. What do we see now that we're this close? What do we,
Okay, you move along the ridge, and you actually move along the ridge, and your trained belter eye picks out. It's a perfect hide. These things were built, especially in defensive structures. You've been on a couple of asteroids that were parented by security corporations that were exceptionally focused on keeping their profits profitable. And they spent a lot of time actually building these structures to make it look natural, which is why were able to pick it. But they also made them like people back on the Earth that was used to make duck hides and stuff like that, where they would sit for days and days and days, and it would look completely and utterly natural. But you actually pick it out, and you can see that there is a split in the rock that gives them a perfect angle that looks deeper down into the thermal vent. You're actually coming up from a higher perspective, so you're coming down from the top. But you can see the ridge that actually allows them a visual perspective of the vent below them. You also know that the entryway, and you can see the seams to the entryway, the entrance into this is from above. And you can see it quite clearly. There's no visual perspective from anybody that's in this thing, if there is anybody that's in there. They can't see you, but you can see them, or you can see their entryway from where you are. They would be focused down, looking at the fence, etc. There is a strong communication signal coming out of there, though. Exceptionally strong.
Can we move so that we're sort of parallel with them looking into this other trench?
To get there'll be risk. I'm not going to say that you can do it perfectly without anything, but generally you know these hides are used by engineers and mechanics and belters, etc., that always look down. But there is a risk.
Well, that's why they sent us, because there is a risk. We're, what's the word?
The risk takers.
No. We're
expendable. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're expendable. And I've seen that movie too. Okay. I asked. No, I guess he doesn't. But I asked our military, our mercenary, does he have any skills in being able to sneak down and have a look in there for us?
You tell me where to go, I'll be recon, sir.
So you do have recon. You have been trained in the recon abilities.
I've been trained in self-defense and the arts of the Marine, sir. I am a skilled operative.
It hasn't answered my question. Okay, I'm then voting to send in the Super Cat, because she won't attract any attention. Okay. God. Yeah, sending him down to have a recon.
Sending him down?
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to say, just so people know where they are, that this is likely to take 45 to an hour from here. Are we comfortable with that?
I've got to pull the pin.
Got to pull the pin? At what time?
Yeah. I'm going to drop out here.
Here?
Okay, I sort of was going to go for the 15 minutes sort of thing.
Yeah, I was too, but we're at that point. Like, I mean, I'm happy to run it in a fortnight's time.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to leave it
Okay.
here.
I'm okay with that if everyone else is.
Yep.
Fortnight's time, what's that be?
It's
Nice.
the week after our Darius.
I'll be in Victoria, I think.
Will you have internet access in Victoria?
Don't know. Depends where I am. If I'm at my parents' place, definitely like not enough bandwidth, you know, to use up playing games for several hours.
Yep.
But if I'm in a friend's place, maybe.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to schedule something for a fortnight. I'm going to invite everybody. Like, I mean, I don't want to lose you guys at this point. I am happy to include other people, like if Sockadoo can make it and he wants Seeker to come along, then we'll say he's been pussyfooting around you.
Very good.
At that point, and if Justin wants to join in or something like that, then we can include other people.
Okay,
But-
so if Justin does come into it, can we just take a group vote now that he's the one who we vac?
He's the one, what?
That we vac. Well, we had that conversation, but we haven't backed anything, and he's the likely person from the previous game, so I just think we need to have that.
Well, you never know, you might be able to back something. Master
Cool.
Space something. Yes, okay. So I just know that it's going to take us this long, and we took a while getting started with various bits and pieces and stuff like that. I don't want to rush it. I can pad it so we can have another 2 to 3 hour session. And I just don't want to undersell the point that I'm going to reach with this, and I don't want to rush it.
He's so cool with me.
Yep.
Doesn't want to kill everybody quickly.
No, it's not to do with anything. There's a big reveal at the end of this, and it's going to make you go. Hopefully, it's going to make you go.
Don't
I saw that in the movie.
Fucking do that. Okay, 'cause
Neil, is that the name of your cat, Mr. Space Hanky?
No. This is Noodle.
Ah, great. Hello, Noodle. I'm a cat person.
Okay, then for those people that are watching, I'm sorry if you were thinking that we're going to get to the point where we suddenly go, ta-da, and here's the big reveal. But yeah, I don't want to undersell this. This is the hinging point of my campaign, the six adventure campaign, which is going to turn into 6.5 because of this.
Blame it on the Kiwi. That's what I say.
No, I'll blame it on Dan and Neil and Tom for all being late. Well, not that it was Dan's fault, he was on time. He just couldn't get in. I had to leave before he could come in.
That was interesting.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do because I don't want to rush this and I want it to play out how I expect it to. This is the one adventure that I don't want to rush.
Good.
Okay. Good. Then, by the way, I'm really happy. Like, I mean, Dan, yes, I know you're in pain, and whatnot, but I think that this has worked really well tonight. You've all got involved really well, so I'm hoping that you're getting the feeling that I'm getting from this game, which is, I'm nice and tense about this. So. And I'll talk to Dave Morris and I'll see if I can get him in because I know that he has. He's going to be really disappointed if we actually. No, not Jack of all trades. I know he's going to be really disappointed if we can do any firefight battles because that's what Dave lives for. And I think he likes my games, but he wishes there was more battling in it. And there might be a little bit of that coming. So I'll see if I can convince him. And. Yeah, I will give you one spoiler. There's a reason that I have this picture showing?
That's what's in the background.
I'm not going to say
Isn't
what
it?
the reason is. There's a reason I went
Quick,
and found a
guys.
picture of the robot.
Print screen, guys! Quick, print screen!
Oh, that's alright. You can print screen as much as you want.
Those are awesome robots.
They are awesome robots. They're
I'm
the
just a bit
robots that I spent about 6 hours today building.
Okay, but I'm just a bit disturbed by the fact that they are wearing cloth sleeves.
But
really
are they
weird.
cloth? Are they cloth sleeves or are they
Well, it looks like material.
heat shrink, perhaps?
Yeah, okay, still weird. Why would you need that
Okay.
on a machine?
Makes me feel a little
It's
bit
ablative.
happier.
It's ablative armor.
Yeah, well, it's
Okay,
to protect
so-
something.
Thanks very much. for
Thank you,
coming
Mark.
on the broadcast now. Thanks for watching, viewers.